Kol Halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash, the bonus to GMS that told me this truth, Revelation 13:16. And he calls if all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. So let's take a look at this. This is a YouTube channel called Neuropod. And it says why hackers, so-called, won't succeed in controlling Neuralink. So let's play.
Go to the comment section of any of my Neuralink videos, and you'll see the same type of question popping up. If I get one of these things in my head, can Elon read my mind? It is the single most common fear people have about these brain chip implants. The idea of AI wired directly into your brain sounds like the end of ever having a private thought again. So let's consider that fear seriously, and then look at how this is most likely to unfold as the technology matures. In 2025, a research team at Stanford decoded inner speech, the words people were only imagining, straight from the motor cortex of paralyzed volunteers. Two very different findings came out of it. First, the reassuring one. Attempted speech, or the kind where you're actually trying to talk, produced a strong, clear signal. But the second finding was different. Inner speech sometimes leaked into the decoder. The difference between private and public speech became fuzzy. So the researchers did something that foreshadows where this is all heading. They built a mental password. The participant had to think of a specific, unusual phrase. In their case, it was chitty chitty bang bang, before the system would listen to the imagined speech at all. But is this mental password concept sufficient for the long term? It's kind of catchy, but realistically, how many times do you want to say chitty chitty bang bang per day? And what if you forget to turn the private mode back on? Hey there, welcome to Neuropod, the channel where I cover everything happening at Elon Musk's brain-computer interface company, Neuralink. If you're new here, this is the kind of video where I explain Neuralink concepts by looking at primary sources and painting the real picture instead of a scary headline. First, we'll discuss Neuralink's products today. I'll break down a Neuralink patent that makes it tough for hackers. I'll share Elon's perspective on who he believes should own the brain data, and then explain how these privacy concerns could play out in the future. The current Neuralink device is far less intrusive than people assume. It only reads brain signals. It does not currently stimulate your brain in any way. That is, until their next product is stimulating the visual cortex to help the blind see. In order to understand how Neuralink could, in theory, read our thoughts, it's important to understand a little bit about the brain first. The brain is segmented into many different regions. Generally speaking, the regions have a specialty. So if you place the implant in the visual cortex to read those neurons, you'll understand what the person can see. I'll show the brain regions on the screen so you can get a sense of what I'm talking about. Neuralink first did the surgery in the motor cortex, because this gives paralyzed people the chance to use a computer mouse with just their brain. By reading the neurons in the right areas, you can understand how the person would want to move their hand to move their mouse. In fact, the implant can detect what the person wants to do before they even realize it themselves, which I suppose is the type of thing that sparks concerns, and is thus being brought up on Reddit and in the YouTube comments. Brad Smith, Neuralink's third patient, said this on his YouTube channel that I'll link to on the screen. Check it out.
Neuralink isn't about mind reading at all. It's a brain-computer interface focused on motor control. In my case, the implant is placed in the motor cortex, where it decodes my intended movements, like thinking about moving my hand, and turns that into controlling a cursor on a screen. It's essentially a super advanced mouse that responds to my brain signals. No deep thoughts, no emotions, no personal secrets.